Last night in Rome, Pope Francis announced that our church will be blessed with some new saints. Two of the people who will be canonized are people who have been inspirations for me in my life. Pope Paul VI, the Pope responsible for seeing through the work that was begun by St. John the 23rd, the Second Vatican Council, and Paul, who brought into being many of the teachings of the Council, some of the teachings that we experience this evening. The fact that our liturgy is in English, the vernacular, the fact that we are celebrating this Mass along with you. All these things we owe to Paul and the bishops we gathered with him in Rome over 50 years ago. And one of those other inspirations is Oscar Romero. Oscar Romero, that rather bookish Archbishop of San Salvador, who in the end stood up in the face of opposition and injustice and paid the ultimate price by being assassinated. Two great names that we know, two great people that have been an inspiration for me and perhaps for others here this evening. But there's another inspiration that I would like to share with you this evening. Somebody who has inspired me. Somebody I knew of long before I knew about Paul VI and Oscar Romero. His name is Mark Thackeray. It may not be a name that's familiar to you. Mark trained at university to be an engineer, and he had some experience as an engineer, and then he moved to England, where he couldn't find employment. Rather desperate for work, he took the first job that came his way. That job? As a teacher. A teacher in a rather underprivileged school in the East End of London. Mark was full of spirit. He had a great passion to go out, and he thought he could make a difference in the lives of the young people that he was asked to teach. His dream very quickly turned to a nightmare, and perhaps this is not a good story to be sharing. Mark persevered. He wasn't going to give up. And every day in the classroom was like a battle. And then one day, something happened. Something happened that would transform Mark and his attitude. He suddenly realized that the people he was called to educate were just that. They were people. They were human beings. Human beings who thirsting for something greater than the simple knowledge that he was able to impart to them. Once he transformed his attitude, the life of those young people also was transformed. But the curriculum that he had to teach, he realized wasn't preparing them for life, and ought not that be what education is about. Preparing us, forming us for life, the journey ahead. For those of you who don't know the name Mark Thackeray, Mark is actually a fictional character. He is the central character in the novel and the later film, To Serve with Love. But Mark is not a totally fictional character, because that novel is autobiographical. And the author, Ricardo Braithwaite, was an engineer who was transformed when he decided to become a teacher. And he made an incredible impact on the life of those young people who were preparing to step forward into life in England in the 60s, a society that was going through transformation. In our gospel this evening, we hear that story that perhaps is very familiar to us. The story of Jesus' encounter with the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman at the well, and that is significant. And it's also significant that we have this gospel this evening on this day, International Day of Women. For it is through this encounter that Jesus is transformed. His ministry is transformed. In John's Gospel, to this point, Jesus had been very much focused on calling forward the Jewish people, challenging them to return to the true faith. And then he has this encounter at the well of Jacob, this well full of living water. And when he first encounters this woman, Jesus treats her like any Jewish man would have treated a Samaritan woman. But a Samaritan woman who was something of a questionable background. He introduced very quickly her story. But Jesus, in listening to her and listening to her boldness in responding to her, was transformed. He was transformed because he could see within the Samaritan woman a child of God, a child who also thirsts for this living water, a living water that would not only enable her to live today, but to live for all eternity. Jesus was transformed in his attitude towards her. And even when his disciples came and wondered why it was he was conversing with her, he dismissed their concerns to focus on her. And through this love of her, Jesus transformed her life. And she, in her turn, went forward to transform the life of many in her village. As we gather this evening to commission new leaders within our school, we are very conscious of the path of transformation that we are called to walk along. Jesus, when he went to that well, had deviated from one of the most common paths that led through Jewish territory. He deviated from that path to go into the Samaritan territory, a territory that was full, as it were, of the enemy. But Jesus was inspired. He was inspired to take this journey. Perhaps he was not very conscious of why he was doing it, but he felt inspired and the need to do so. And this led him to this encounter that transformed him in his mission. From that point on, Jesus no longer simply focused on the Jewish people, but he focused on calling all people to wholeness of life, inviting all to share this living water that he had to share with them. Those who are involved in education must also journey this path of transformation. For we, even as we gather today, are very conscious of the metaphorical Samaria that we are involved in. What is the purpose of NAPLAN we've been hearing this past week? What is the purpose of the HSC as it's past its use-by date? What is happening in our curricula? Are they still relevant for our students today, or will they also be transformed? As we are engaged in education, we are very conscious too of our own Bishop's call to be transformed. So he has reminded us time and time again that we cannot place new wine into old wineskins. In order for us to change, our system must also change. If we are to speak God's word bravely and in a new way today, then we must find new wineskins, new ways, transformative ways of educating. Bishop Vincent has also reminded us that our school system must change, not just from the top, but also at the grassroots. Our schools, he has told us, must no longer be places for educating Catholics. It must be a place of Catholic education for all. No longer are we to promote ghettos of Catholicism, but we must promote true centres of evangelisation. Evangelisation that isn't about making converts. Evangelisation that isn't about numbers. But evangelisation that is about sharing God's word. That word that is living water. Those we commission this evening are called to be this living water for the students that they encounter. Some years ago, I was blessed to attend a lecture by the Hillside brother and educator, Gerard Rummery. During his lecture, Brother Gerard spoke about how the teachers in our Catholic schools must be the older brothers and sisters in faith of their students. So true. Our teachers must be the older sisters and brothers in faith of our students. And I would challenge all involved in education to be that older sibling in faith, sharing the life-giving water that is God's word, that word that we have been blessed with, that word that challenges us and calls us to wholeness of life. But I'd also like to challenge you to go beyond that. Not simply to be an older sister or brother in faith to your students, but to also seek out an older brother and sister in faith. Someone who can refresh that living water within you. Someone who can inspire you to go on, to be the face of God for our world today. Our world is in need of transformation. God calls us to be that transforming agent. May we, inspired by God's word, that living water, have the courage of our faith to be evangelizers for our world today. Let us embrace the mission that is before us, and let us be Catholic educators for all.